All right, folks. Is this working? Do, do, do. There we go. All right. So hopefully the audio is coming through. Let's get somebody in here to check it out before I go any further. Sorry if you are. You're gonna want to fast forward to a minute while I. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is simultaneously broadcast this on the Telegram channel. I'm not going to mess around too much with it, and I'm not even sure yet that the audio works, but we'll find out soon enough. Let's see. Okay, now let's go to Telegram. So, if you're watching this on the replay, I want to tell you how far to skip ahead. Right now, we're at the 2 minute mark and still not quite ready yet here. Start live stream. Okay. All right. Oops. Let's actually start recording. Okay. So starting the whole thing at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. 3 minutes. Okay. I think we've got it now. Well, it has been a long time since I have posted any kind of video here. I was looking at the log, and it's been more than a year. Actually, it was August 27th ish, I guess. So it has not been a fun year for me in a lot of ways. It's also been very busy. And let me get confirmation from my one viewer. My one viewer, can you hear me? You can just send me that message on Telegram. That'd be great. Let's see here. Now I'm on my phone. Because if people can't hear me, then yes. Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So this is going to be a somewhat brief video. I wanted to iron out some of the technical details. Oh yeah, look, there's a chat. Some of the technical details and I'm hoping that it is successfully streaming on Telegram too, because I really don't want to have multiple streams. But I'll double check that later. I mean, it seems to be working. But moving on. So, uh, a lot has happened in the last year. Uh, boy, so if my last video was in August, give or take, let's see, we had the October 7th invasion by Hamas into Israel. That was pretty catastrophic. And if you're paying attention to current events right now, you know how um, chaotic that is as we speak. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. Um, so that's ongoing. How about that Biden? Huh? Well, he bowed out. Who couldn't have predicted that? So now we have this Harris thing. That's pretty monumental. And one of the things that has happened that I've been paying very close eye to on this channel, I have made multiple predictions that the Ukraine Russia war would escalate, that America would keep authorizing more and more weaponry, risking, I mean, risking World War III, really. And it just really all goes to my theme. Well, I mean, the point is, I was right about that. I mean, they've given them just about everything, and we'll come back and talk about that right now. But the end game there um, is the real danger of American boots on the ground, and that's World War III at that point. So I'm only going to touch on some of these things as I go through. Um, and then in later videos come back and speak more in depth on them. And I'm probably going to do the live stream a little bit more than the prepared channel, the prepared videos, just because I don't have the time really um, to do all that. But if this works, I can just fire it up and go. And besides, other people are doing it, so why can't I? So let's start with one of my excursions this year. I have been very almost hostile about crypto in in my videos, and this last year has driven me to uh, give them a more in-depth look. That's the Biden economy for you, and I'm I'm going to branch out a little bit. I am not I'm not won over to the idea that crypto is really the greatest thing since sliced bread. Um, I'm not I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. It has its problems, but let's face it, fiat has its problems too, and we're going to have to find a way to navigate this and to protect ourselves going forward. So it seemed time to learn more about crypto, and so I'm actually going to investigate and present and maybe even shill some crypto coins as we go forward. See the lingo? See, I've got the lingo now. I'm a shiller. So that's partly why I started the Telegram channel, um, because that's where all the crypto freaks are, right? It's on Telegram. So I would encourage you, after watching this, if you are on Telegram, the Telegram link is in the description. Find me there because we're going to be able to have much more honest conversations on the Telegram channel than we can in this format. Uh, in fact, that was one of the reasons, just while we're on the topic, that I ended up taking the break from the YouTube thing because YouTube kept censoring me. Uh, well, they didn't uh, like take my videos down or anything, but they made it impossible to promote them and to share them and demonetize. And it was just like I just don't have the time for that. Well, you don't have that problem with Telegram, at least not at this point, right? At least on Telegram, no one can tell you what you can do and not do. So between that and the crypto emphasis, it made sense to finally get onto Telegram. But here's one of the things that's going to be different with how I approach the crypto space. We are going to look at different coins that are out there. We're going to be looking for winners and losers and making sure that no one gets ripped off, that kind of thing. But my quest is going to be to find a cryptocurrency that is actually based in something. Now, I mean, so for example, in an ideal world, our currency would be pegged to gold or silver, would be on the gold or silver standard, that sort of thing. There doesn't seem to be any indication out there that many people are trying to also do the same with cryptocurrencies. Um, there's no gold standard yet for crypto, but insofar as a crypto project is grounded in a real life asset, I want to find that out, seek it out, explore it, and then those are the places where I'm going to emphasize. And if you've been following this channel at all, you already know that I'm a big fan of Kinesis, which you can see on the screen there. I have the referral link in the description for this. Just very briefly, I like Kinesis because basically they have managed to find a way uh, to have physical gold. Pretty sure silver too. Pretty sure they have physical silver, but the gold is the emphasis. I see the picture of the silver, so I'm probably safe. Um, so for every uh, digital coin that they issue for their gold or their silver, which you can buy as a cryptocurrency, essentially, it there's actually gold and silver in a vault, which is audited, and they never release any more tokens than there is actually the actual gold and silver in their vaults. And in principle, you should be able to actually withdraw that gold and silver if you so choose. And so that's huge. I have a review of Kinesis. Quite a few people have now taken me up on my referral offer on that, but I want to be looking for projects like this. Just gives you an idea. So, so Telegram is going to be the place to be, especially if you want that angle. I'm not saying we won't do crypto stuff here on the YouTube also, but if you know anything about crypto, Telegram is where you need to be, and hit us up on Telegram. We're also going to spend a little bit more time on current events going forward, uh, with a caveat, I guess. So one of the things that I am not comfortable doing, I am not comfortable being the guy who spends like 10 hours a day doing show prep, looking for current events and often their opinions on those current events. I'm much more interested in understanding how we got where we are and understanding what has to change in the long run. From a systemic point of view, not that I think that those changes will ever happen, but because I think that it's pretty much inevitable that the current system is going to collapse. And so when we get to that point, we want to know our history. We want to know what went wrong and why, so that we don't do it again. But that said, there is just so much going on out there on a daily basis. There can be 10 seriously uh, important global events or even national events. I mean, they've tried to kill Trump twice, right? I mean, um, one day we're gonna wake up probably, and they will have got them. And if you can imagine the chaos that that will put in the country, and I think we need to understand. Yeah, so we'll talk about something like that, like the assassination attempts on Trump, but we're gonna try to put that in a philosophical context, like what is bringing people to that point, and I kind of study that sort of thing, and so I think I have some insight on that that will be helpful. Maybe not in the short term, but maybe in the long term, because one of the goals that I have for this channel is to prepare people to stand on their own if the government were to be nowhere to help. And if you are at all a subscriber to the channel or whatnot, watch some of the videos, then you already know that. So, just real quick, I kind of skipped ahead on my tabs here to the pagers exploding in Lebanon. So, I'm going to kind of like tie together three segments, so to speak, here. And again, these are just going to be brief things. So, because I'll talk about them more in later videos. So the escalation just continues. I didn't really care too much about this particular article. I kind of skimmed it. Just the point is first we were talking about whether or not we were going to give Ukraine tanks and you know different kinds of weaponry, and then whether or not we were going to give them the F-14s or F-35s, I think. And they always said the same thing: "No, we're not going to do it. No, we're not going to do it." And I told you, I said they're going to do it because they're invested in this in a way that is not very well recognized, and certainly our media doesn't explain why we are invested in this. Um, Biden is invested in it, and if Harris wins, if Harris wins, it's really hard to see how we don't have American boots on the ground within like a year. Um, just the way that this is going to escalate. So, like right now, Ukraine has done their own little invasion of Russia. Bless their heart. They're pressing to allow them to use our weapons inside of Russia, and they want to use our long range missiles. And I'm just saying that I think it would be a very hard sell for Putin to accept the argument that the West is not at war with him, while we are sending missiles of all kinds and our explosives that we have manufactured and that Ukraine would not possess, but for the fact that we provide them. At some point, Putin is just going to have to. He's just going to come to the conclusion that we're effectively at war, and I assume he'll make it official somehow. And boy, he's been putting that off. I think he's waiting out to see what the next election is going to bring, and I think Harris will be a continuation of what Biden wants to do, has been doing. The whole globalist scheme for whatever they have going on there. And so, boy, that would be uh, a really bad thing for us. And I won't really go into why I think Trump would wrap it up, but I think Putin is biding his time. I mean, just think of it this way: Ukraine has now done several incursions into Russia, and Putin has not dropped the hammer in any significant way. And if you can imagine Canada sweeping down into the United States and taking Duluth, Minnesota, and maybe a little part of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan or a bit of Maine or whatever, and then having America just sort of sit around and not really do anything about that, I don't think so. No, 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 no. Putin wants to. I'm sure of it. But I think he just wants to wait it out to the election. So this is something that we definitely need to keep our eye on, because what we have happening right now is we have an alliance that is growing between Russia and China and Iran. You've got the BRICS reserve currency thing, competitor to the reserve currency, that's developing, and so all these countries are preparing themselves for an interconnected conflict with the rest of the world. And I think that, well, I'm just going to state my, just we'll talk about it in later videos, but basically, the U.S. government, the United Nations, if it's being led by the Harris administration, they're going to f it up. It's going to be, they're going to be terrible. They can't do anything right, and they'll get this way wrong. That's why we have to prepare ourselves to live as independently and as we can, as self-reliantly as we can. We can't do everything, but we should be making steps. So just look at the date on this, of the screenshot that I've got there, September 17th, 2024. So this stuff is happening as we speak. So let's go back to this pager thing real quick. And the main thing that I wanted to pull away from this was just how vulnerable we are in this country to these kinds of, how should we put it, creative attacks. So China is going to invade Russia. I said China is going to invade Taiwan. Um, and again, I think they also are waiting to see where the election plays out. Um, so they, it's clear, I think, to them, to the Chinese, that they're going to have to take that land by force. Now, China is the maker of almost all of our electronics. And if they didn't just get a brilliant idea from Israel on how to deal with their enemies, well, then I don't know the communist Chinese. I mean, they definitely noted this. They paid attention. And actually, historically, we already know that they've been doing all sorts of nefarious things through technology, from installing chips into routers and things like that. And then we have to go and swap out, thousands of routers to keep the Chinese from using them against us, that sort of thing. And of course, everyone knows about what's going on with TikTok. But think about how the pager thing worked. So the Israelis set up a front company, made a deal with a Taiwanese manufacturer to license the tech, and somehow this Israeli front company managed to convince Hezbollah to buy pagers and walkie-talkies and other things from that front company. And if you just think about just the brilliance of that, they they managed to persuade Hezbollah to pay money for their own destruction. I mean, wow, that's genius, kind of scary, right? But basically, what you had happen there is Israeli inserted itself into the supply chain. Okay, China is a supply chain. They don't need to insert themselves into the supply chain, right? They have it. For all we know, this very minute, um, who knows what electrical devices could be primed to blow up simultaneously. I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm just saying it's completely a plausible type scenario. What, well, maybe not so plausible now that we're like watching for it. So hopefully somebody's gonna take a proactive look at this situation. But here's what I'm getting at. when China goes after Taiwan, this is going to be something that's coordinated. It's going to be coordinated with Iran, which means coordinated with Hezbollah, coordinated with Hamas, uh, coordinated with the Houthis, um, and Russia and China. They're all going to be together on this, and it's going to be something that's going to be a complete surprise. It'll be something that no one has ever really thought about. We've talked on this channel about EMPs. Uh, with the whole China spy balloon thing where we just let them float a balloon over. That's crazy. Can't believe we did that. Like I said, we're on our own. Government are filled with morons who are incompetent. But I digress. Um, what is Israel did to Hezbollah was what happens when a organization, in this case Mossad most likely, is able and willing to think outside the box without being having the checks and balances or the oversight of the United Nations or whatnot, um, looking down their noses at them. China doesn't care what the international opinion is. Russia doesn't care. Iran doesn't care. What ideas are they going to come up with? I don't think it'll be exploding um, radios. I mean, I don't know, but it'll be something. And I don't think they really want to do something that provokes an actual war with America because that might be a bridge too far. But they want us on the sidelines. They want us incapacitated so that they can do their thing in Taiwan without us intervening in a meaningful way. Which all just goes back to the premise and the point of my channel that as philosopher kings 2.0. So we're not looking at Plato's version, we're looking at the modern version here. We need to be people who can manage our own affairs as though we are the rulers of our own little kingdoms. And yes, we can do our thing. We can do diplomacy with the other little kingdoms around us, but we need to stand alone, or we won't stand at all. Because the people we pay to help us, or I should say, the people who extort money and say they're going to help us, they suck. They're just really bad at what they do, and we've seen that time and time again. So that's the broad strokes of where we're going. The future of this channel. I plan on broadcasting more often. It'll probably be a little bit more of the live streaming as I described because it requires a little bit less preparation and editing and that sort of thing. Uh, but I will say there will be a little bit more content in the Telegram channel and on the Twitter channel as far as like my commentary and that sort of thing. And I'm going to reserve the most provocative things for the Telegram channel because that's the one place I can't be censored. And yes, Elon Musk has X well in hand, and he seems to be holding the line. But it's still a big tech company, and they still have to comply with laws. So, um, not not saying that I plan on breaking any laws, not by any means, but I want to be able to speak honestly and forthrightly without having someone come and say I'm violating community standards or whatever, blah blah blah. So I hope you'll be joining me. Uh, go to the description, find the Telegram link. Excuse me. Join us in Telegram and spread the word. Share this. And if you are a crypto enthusiast, then you might also want to get in because we're planning some really big things there and have a lot to say about that as well. So thanks for joining me. If you watch this video later, thank you for sticking it out to the end. We'll see you all again much uh later. It just occurs to me, I forgot we got this little chat thing. I don't mind if anyone does anyone want to post a question or comment. I won't stand. I don't want to go in too much because whatnot, but I'll give you 30 seconds to post question if you wanted me to. Okay, then. That was. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Black. See, look at the. Uh, yeah. Okay. So no good questions. So that's it. We're shutting the peanut gallery down. This is the Philosopher King 2.0. I'm out. Thanks for joining us. Good night.